and we will make America great again.
Starting in the 2000s, China began its own climb up the ladder, following the same early path as Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, starting with low-value work like assembling and packaging chips. But under leader Xi Jinping, China's goal shifted toward becoming fully self-sufficient. In 2014, China launched the Big Fund, alongside its Made in China 2025 plan, pouring more than $150 billion into homegrown chip production, aiming to make 70% of the chips it uses domestically by 2025. China's push was driven by the realization that it was importing more chips by value than oil, something its leaders saw as a serious risk to national security. The response from the US under both the Trump and Biden administrations has been even tougher than in the 1980s. Because now the stakes go far beyond just business. Chips are now seen as the key ingredient behind both the AI boom and modern military technology. Instead of just using tariffs, the US has started using China's own dependence on American chip technology against it, with the Commerce Department's Bureau of Industry and Security cutting China off from the tools that power modern computing. In October 2022 and again in October 2023, the US rolled out sweeping export restrictions meant to stop China from manufacturing advanced chips below the 7-nanometer size. The key tool behind this is the Foreign Direct Product Rule, which lets the US control any chip made anywhere in the world if it used American software or American-made equipment at any point. Because of this rule's long reach, allies like the Netherlands and Japan have also had to restrict their sales of advanced chip-making machines to China. To complete the comparison with the 1980s, the US has gone back to actively supporting its chip industry with government money, this time through the CHIPS and Science Act of 2022. This $280 billion law includes $52.7 billion in direct funding for manufacturing and research, aimed at bringing back production that had moved to Asia during the fabless era. By convincing companies like Intel and TSMC to build massive new factories in Arizona and Ohio, the US hopes to reduce its reliance on Taiwan, an island that makes 92% of the world's most advanced chips, but also sits in a potential military hotspot. Still, this fight may not play out the same way the one with Japan did. China is a much more serious military rival, and its market is so huge that American chip companies now get more than a third of their revenue from it, making those companies reluctant to fully support Washington's restrictions. On top of that, trying to block China's chip progress may actually be backfiring, since the sanctions seem to have pushed China to innovate faster on its own. When Huawei released its Mate 60 Pro phone in 2023 with a Chinese-made 7-nanometer chip inside, it showed that China is finding ways around the restrictions, including offering huge signing bonuses to attract top chip experts and shifting focus towards simpler legacy chips, an area where China may soon outproduce the rest of the world combined. The idea that the US is using its 1980s strategy against China holds up when you look at the tools being used, but the surrounding situation has completely changed. The rivalry with Japan was a trade dispute between allies, fought over simple memory chips. The rivalry with China is a much bigger global struggle over what's now called the lifeblood of the future economy and the technology behind future warfare. Back in the 1990s, the US didn't win alone because Japan got sanctioned into submission. It won because the whole market shifted from memory chips to microprocessors. Today, the US is betting that a combination of export controls and heavy government investment can help it win the race for AI dominance while building a silicon fortress at home. But with China building its own massive chip industry push through unprecedented state funding, and Chinese researchers even exploring wild alternatives like particle accelerators to replace Western chip-making machines, Nobody really knows how this will turn out. The strategy might look familiar, but the stakes have never been higher. This isn't just about who makes the most money anymore. It's about who controls the future of artificial intelligence and global power for the next 100 years. The question that lingers is, would China win the chip war and set the stage for a new hegemony, or would the US remain the top